Hey guys, it's Lance with Board Around the House, and today I am going to give my R7 driver a paint job. I've had it here for a couple years. Really nice club, but I always thought it was pretty boring. Black head, black shaft, along with a little bit of red and yellow. I'm actually going to paint it camouflage, believe it or not. And I'm just going to paint the top. As you can see, top of the head and the shaft. I basically taped everything that I don't want painted. Along with that, I even taped up a lot of the decals here on the shaft. I actually had to use Scotch tape because I couldn't really see the lines on where I needed to cut with the X-Acto knife, so we'll see if that turns out well. Not for sure. But the products that we're going to be using here today would be the Rust-Oleum camouflage. I have the khaki, I have the deep forest green, and I have the deep brown, earth brown or something in that nature. And some of the other things that I'll be using are like these bins that you get from the grocery store that your salad comes in, or your sandwich meats. I try to keep all that stuff because you never know when you need to use it. Along with that, I will be using sponge, if you will. And this one was a bath sponge. I bought it a couple bucks. I've been cutting it up, and as you can see, I've already used some of this stuff before. I used it on my gun. It worked out really well. And the last but not least, I'll be using the matte clear to go over everything. So process step one, using the khaki, spray everything down, let that dry. Then number two, the green. And then number three, of course, the deep brown, if you will. Always wear a mask. I do have the heat gun. I like to hold that in one hand and spray with the other. And I'm in my paint booth, which is the garage. And I got that cracked, and oh hey, there's the green alligator. But stay tuned guys, I'll show you the process and let's see how this thing turns out. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. I got my mask on, but I'm going to lay down the khaki first. Hopefully you can see everything here. I'll kind of turn this around, but light coats, light hitting it and let it dry and then go back over it again. So here we go. The stuff sprays on really well, actually. Just want to stand back a little bit. I've already used the heat gun and warmed it up. You'll see me using it here in a sec, but I'm going to do one side at a time, so get a kind of a nice even coat, if you will. I'm not going to try to turn it around here. Put the heat gun out. I'll warm that up a little bit. Kind of go back and forth with the gun, don't get it too close, and hit it again. Should come around. I get this side here. Alright, well, I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to hit it a couple more times, and then I'll show you step 3. Okay guys, I've already laid down 2 coats of the khaki, as you can see. First coat, hit it really light, let that dry, used the heat gun. Then I came back about 15 minutes later, sprayed the second all over, so we're good to go. Let that dry. The next I'll be using the camouflage green and the bin. Along with that I'll be using the sponge technique. So what you're going to want to do, just spray a whole bunch right inside there. Get it so it's all liquidy. Okay, got to kind of do this quick too. The mask is very important because it really stinks. So get a bunch on there, kind of flip it around, and just start going to town. You want to push down on the club. You don't want to smear. And just kind of go up, hit different areas. Okay, there's really no big method to do this. You just want to kind of get different areas. I always like to maybe do this part first, get a little bit here, and need a little bit more. Dip it right in. Make sure you're not touching the areas that you've already painted. again, you just want to push down. You don't want to wipe it. If you do that, it'll smear and make it look kind of crappy. Okay, so that's about it for the, one more area there. That's about it for the green. We'll let that dry. And we'll come back and use the deep brown. Okay, now we're going to lay down the earth brown here. Same technique. Make sure it's good. Just spray a bunch in there. And with this, I'm using smaller little sponges. This here I'm going to just dab in little areas. I like to use the brown and not such big. And you can overlap the green. That works out really well. Gives it more of that camo look. Sometimes you blot it there. Again, just be creative. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it. More. Oops, wrong can. Try this one here. Alright, a couple of areas up here. Sorry you can't see it, I'm kind of holding it in an awkward area. Alright, we're getting there. You want to overdo it. Alright. Let that dry, and then last but not least, the clear coat. Alright guys, here's the finished product. My camouflage driver R7. In fact, I'm really glad that I taped up the decals. It worked out really well. It almost looks pretty professional, to be honest with you. As you can see there, even the little R7 right there, probably hard to focus in on, guys, sorry. But all those were taped up prior to the paint job. And as you go down the shaft, get down to the head, see if I can put it down on something so you can see. But before shooting this, of course, I put down the matte clear, and that actually it brings out the color quite a bit. I like it a lot, and also it'll protect it. A couple of the other things that I taped up down there, if you could see, geez, this ain't the best camera, sorry guys, but it says 10.5, and then as you can see, the bottom I left the way that it was originally, and even taped up the little focus in, it won't focus, the titanium, there we go. So otherwise I'm very impressed with the color, or I should say the paint job itself. One thing I wouldn't recommend is throwing your golf club in the woods if you get really pissed off, because you're not going to be able to find it. A little joke I thought about while I was painting it. Haven't done that ever before, but otherwise it's all good to go, and I'm glad I did it. It looks a lot better. Some of the other things, like I mentioned, I've done a camouflage gun before. Many of them I've done the scope down to the cartridge itself. That turned out pretty well, and then I just painted this last week. I went with that khaki, all khaki, on my Mossberg 22 tactical. Pretty much painted everything. I took everything apart on this particular one, but so yeah, I just decided, well, let's add this to everything else that I've camoed, and it's another weapon on the course. But thanks a lot, guys. If you got any questions, please let me know. Thank you.